want to know, don't you? Why they keep coming here. To Earth.
Your world is dying. Do you seek redemption?
My maker, I do.
Welcome to Time About the Movies, everybody. We have been in a rough stretch these last couple of months. I think I've already explained the wonderful bullshit train that we've been on, but it just keeps chugging along here, and this weekend was no exception, because the biggest new release of this weekend was Transformers: The Last Night. And, yeah, if that trailer wasn't an indication that maybe we should finally stay away. No, people were suckered into this one once again, just like the other movies, and what was the end result? Instant disappointment, just like the other movies in the series. So Optimus Prime finds his dead home planet Cybertron, in which he comes to find he was responsible for its destruction. He finds a way to bring Cybertron back to life, but in order to do so, Optimus needs to find an artifact that is on Earth. And as you see from the trailer, he's gone bad, because apparently that's what we're doing in 2017 now. We had that with the Fate of the Furious earlier in the year, and it's just like, I mean, my God, man, we're really doing this. So, here's the thing. After 5 years and negative criticisms all over the previous movies, you would think that Michael Bay would finally get the hint that maybe, just maybe, it's time to do something different to make these Transformers movies better than they had been in the past. I mean, yeah, sometimes he hits the bullseye with the first Transformers movie and the third one, but 2 and 4 were terrible. So after all this, and all the goodwill he got from the movies he makes outside of Transformers, like Pain and Gain, or 13 Hours, you would think that he'd bring that into the Transformers movies. You know what Bay did? He took that criticism and did something about it. He made a Transformers movie that was basically the same boring-ass shit as the sequels, but made it incredibly long, and even more boring, and even more stupider. That is what this movie really is. This whole movie is nothing but the last 3 movies again, except with a completely new cast that is completely wasted here. You wasted Mark Wahlberg. Stanley Tucci essentially became the new John Turturro of this series. Why is Anthony Hopkins in this movie? Like, why is he supposed to be the one who's supposed to know everything about what's going on? Like, why do you have Peter Quill's mother? Why did you take her from the cancer patient that she was in Guardians of the Galaxy, the sick person that she was in Guardians of the Galaxy? I can't remember if she had cancer or not. I think she did. Yeah, she did, because, you know, Ego gave her that in the second movie, which we found out. But why did you take her, who we last saw her as the sick woman, and decide to give her the Megan Fox treatment? You know, boost up the boobs, you know, put glasses on her, because we're gonna go with that same trope of, you know, smart girls can't be smart, can't be considered scientists, girl scientists can't be considered smart unless they wear glasses and have their hairs tied up. You know, that's the cliche we're going with here. It's just like, it's 2017. We're done with this trope already. But nope, not Michael Bay. No. No, we gotta make it even stupider than the other movies, because basically, like, the movie is 149 minutes long. That's 2 hours and 29 minutes. There's no reason why a Transformers movie needs to be this long, especially when it's the same movie. It's like watching Avatar: Fire and Ash again. It's and The Way of Water, too, for that matter. It's the same movie over and over and over again. And as I said, I like the first Transformers movie. I like that it was dumb, summer fun, and impressive to look at. Revenge of the Fallen was a misfire because of the writer's strike that happened the year before. Dark of the Moon kind of goes back to what made the first movie work, but still suffers from a lot of what made the second film terrible. You know, I waited years to see Age of Extinction, and I really didn't need to, because it's exactly what I was afraid it was. It's the same movie as the first film, as was The Last Night. It's like Michael Bay is trolling his audience with a film this inept and this bad. Not only does The Last Night fail to fix the problems of the past 3 films, but they create even more problems than what they have now that make these movies unbearable to watch. This movie has the nerve and the audacity to bring Transformers into medieval times and make it how do you take an idea like taking Transformers and putting them into medieval times and make it the stupidest idea ever? Like, not only that, but we gotta throw in Transformers living around the same time as the time of Frederick Douglass and Rosa Parks. Like, Transformers had something to do with the Underground Railroad. I don't think it's actually, now that I think about it, I don't think it actually happened. I'm thinking maybe of the double toasted joke, but it's real. It's not that. It would not be that impossible to believe, because that's how stupid this movie is. It's like Michael Bay is trolling his audience with a film this inept and this bad. It fails to fix the problems of the past 3 films and creates even more problems than how they made these movies absolutely unbearable to watch. And it's just like, and the sad part is that whole review I just did, except for a couple things that are related to this movie, was pretty much my straightforward review of Age of Extinction, because it's that bad of a movie. They take everything that could make for a really good Transformers movie, and then just add nothing to it, because they don't want to make a good movie here. They want to sucker you in with an idea of, we're going to do something incredible that's never been done before, and then we're just going to go ahead and do the same thing we've been doing all over again. There was a whole thing in the movie where you had Isabella Mercer, and in one of her early film roles, it seemed like she was going to have a bigger role in this movie. No, she doesn't. She's not really in this movie all that much, and even then, she's not really given a whole lot to do here. Like, if this movie isn't even going to bother to fix any of the problems of the last few movies that this guy has done, then why the fuck should we even care at this point? Why bother giving an actual review when it's just going to be more of the same thing over and over and over again? This is why I've always been saying that once you take Michael Bay away from these movies, he can be the producer all he wants to, but keep him out of the director's chair, especially keep him out of the writer's chair, because you know what happened after Michael Bay left the director's chair with the other Transformers films that came after this? They started getting really good again. Started with Bumblebee, which, it's Travis Knight. Travis Knight so far has proven that the guy can do no wrong as a director, so of course that one was going to be fun. Rise of the Beast, the Transformers movie that was made with Stephen Cable Jr., the director of Creed 2. That was really good. The best Transformers movie we've had since the first Transformers film was the animated Transformers 1 that came out in 2024, directed by the guy who did Toy Story 3. Or Toy Story 4, excuse me. But, yeah, and guess what? Nobody went to go see that movie. Of course they didn't. Of course they don't want to see a good Transformers movie, because why the fuck would you do that? Why the fuck would you assume that your audience is much smarter than you think it is? Just keep making garbage like this. They've literally said that they want to bring Michael Bay back for another Transformers movie. It's just like, do it. It's clear that you're not going to pay attention to sensible people who want to see good movies from this, so just keep going back to what you think was working before. But hey, why stop there? Let's call up George Lucas and get him out of retirement so he can make a new series of Star Wars movies that can take the Star Wars franchise back to the hell that it was before Disney took it over. Because at this point, why bother trying? Why bother even trying? In fact, why even bother finishing this review here? Good night, everybody. I'll see you next time. I don't know. I don't care. I don't know. Of course, I'm not going to do that to you because, hey, I've got a deadline I got to get to. I got to get to the end of the year to get through all the rest of the show, but you get the point I'm trying to get across here. Transformers The Last Night is just such a gigantic clusterfuck of a movie that just makes you wonder if Transformers will ever get out of Michael Bay's shadow, and it eventually did, but will Michael Bay ever be the same person he was that made his career as good as it was? Keep in mind, this guy had a great career early on. He not only directed great stuff like Bad Boys, The Rock, these really fun action movies in general, but he was a great music video director. Most people don't realize that he directed the very first Got Milk commercial in 1993. That guy, over 30 years later, nearly 30 years later, no, near 25 years later, because this would be 2017, this is where he's gone to since. I'm trying to think, has he really done anything since this movie that I actually like? And I'm thinking, well, I liked Ambulance. I thought that was pretty good. What else did he do? He did something else not too recently. Six Underground is what I'm thinking of here. A movie that I don't remember a whole lot about that movie, but from what I remember from it, I don't remember hating it overall. It at least was more competently made than what he's done with the Transformers franchise, so I guess there's that. So, I don't know, maybe there is some hope with him after all. I mean, he's still a great producer. I mean, he's been behind the Quiet Place movies. He's been behind the Forever Purge movies. So, yeah, the Purge movies in general. He did the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies in the mid-teens that I thought were pretty good. So, maybe there is still hope for him in the long run. But, you know, it's hard not to think that after watching a bad movie like this and just going like, wow, this is what it's been reduced to for this guy. So you know what? Let's go ahead and turn the tide here. Let's go ahead and get to a really... Thank you, computer, for suggesting that I should use Copilot. No, not right now. Okay, let's get back to some positivity here, because we definitely need it. So let's take a look at not only a really good movie, but one of the year's best movies easily, and that is The Big Sick.
She's white.
A white good. It's okay. We hate terrorists. If you're bad man.
I'm looking for Emily Gardner. She was checked in tonight.
You should call her family.
Is that lady still looking at me?
I wonder who that could be.
I'm guessing it's a young single Pakistani woman.
For your files? Your ex-files? The truth is out there.
I think I'll make tea. Actually, I'll open a bottle of wine. Does Emily have whiskey?
The Big Sick. Rated R. Starts June 23rd.
What's the big sick, Ren? It's death! Death, you idiot! Don't you know what death is? That's what we're gonna be if we don't get out of here! Little reference to Ren and Stimpy's first episode, by the way, where they talk about the big sleep, but, I mean, I called it the big sick. I mean, when's the other time I'm ever gonna use that, but, this is The Big Sick. This is directed by Michael Showalter, and, proves that, hey, this guy did make a lot of good movies, did make a good movie back in the day as a director. Because, yeah, every movie he's done since then has not been the greatest overall. I mean, we talked about Hello, My Name is Doris and The Baxter, but we haven't even got this bad stuff like The Lovebirds, or mediocre stuff like The Eyes of Tammy Faye, or Spoiler Alert, but we've talked about bad stuff like Oh, What Fun, and this is probably the only good movie he's ever made as a director. And it helps that you have a really solid storyline here, which is based off the relationship of Kamala Nanjiani and also his wife, Emily V. Gordon. And it follows an interracial couple who must deal with cultural differences after Emily, played by Zoe Kazan, becomes ill. You also have a cast that includes, as you see, Holly Hunter and Ray Romano among the cast as well, produced by Judd Apatow, so you know that, yeah, there's at least going to be effort being put into this movie overall, and there definitely is. This is a really good, solid story overall. It works to show that, you know, Kamala Nanjiani is a very good actor, not just as a comedian, but he also proves that, hey, this guy has potential as a leading man going forward if he ever wants to take that route overall. And then he does something like Stuber that makes you kind of realize that, okay, technically Stuber really wasn't his fault. It was just not a very good script overall for him in that one. It's a very good, slick, very smartly written comedy with a great blending of comedy and drama. And yeah, Nanjiani and Kazan are really great. Holly Hunter is always going to give a really good performance, but this is one of those movies that you forget that, you know, Ray Romano is not just that dude from Everybody Loves Raymond. This guy is a really good comedic actor. I mean, when you think of Ray Romano, what's the first things you think of? Everybody Loves Raymond, Ice Age. You forget that this guy has done a lot of really good stuff. He was on a great underrated show on TNT, Men of a Certain Age, which lasted a couple of seasons. He was in The Irishman, who was really good in that. He was even really good in the Epix Get Shorty TV series they did back in the day. I mean, this is a really good actor, and he just never really got the chance to take that step in the next direction to become that big comedy star that they were really pushing him for, because every movie they kept putting him in turned out to be not that good. Case in point with Welcome to Mooseport. I mean, that movie literally was a film where he basically said, yeah, this clearly is not the movie for me to kind of branch out and to become the next great big comedic movie star in general. I mean, that's the movie that literally Gene Hackman said, you know what, I've had a great career, I've got 2 Academy Awards, I think I can go ahead and just get the hell on out of here with that, but again, once again, it really wasn't their fault. That movie was terrible. It was just a bad script overall. And yeah, this film really does show you that Ray Romano really is a very good actor, and a film that really does show his true range as an actor as a whole. It's a really, really entertaining film. You do really buy into the relationship of the 2 main leads. You do understand the circumstances they're in, and it's very topical, even by today's standards overall. It's a really, really good movie, and one that I don't want to say has been completely overlooked since then, but you don't really hear a lot of people really talk about it, and even when they do, there's this whole controversy as of late where there was backlash against the movie in South Asia because, it was because that they thought South Asian women being portrayed as stereotypical and undesirable. Also, the fact that one of the actresses in this movie played a Pakistani love interest with a strange accent, to which Nanjiani basically said, "Our movie was the first one in a long time where there were multiple Desi female characters, and the first few you see are reduced. People wanted to see themselves. It's something I completely regret. I would not do it that way now." So even he had some regrets about it, but honestly, when I watched it again, me personally, it didn't bother me all that much, but then again, I'm not South Asian, I don't know, I'm not Pakistani, I'm not anybody that could be offended by this, so who cares what I have to say? So it's really about how they're being portrayed in this movie, and I could see maybe where they're coming from here, but like I said, it never really bothered me overall with what they did with it. So, but regardless, this is still a really good movie, a well-made film, a well-acted film. I mean, it's a really good film. It's one you should definitely check out if you haven't seen it. The Big Sick. Check it out. It's definitely worth your time. Can we finally get off this bullshit train and actually get to some really good movies? Sort of. We head into the middle part of 2017 on the next episode, 4th of July weekend, and we at least have one good movie, probably my favorite of the Despicable Me movies, and that's Despicable Me 3. Of course, I'm not a big fan of the actual Despicable Me franchise. It says a lot when I'm more of a fan of the Minions franchise than I am of the Despicable Me franchise, but Despicable Me 3 is my favorite of the series. That doesn't mean there isn't a bunch of flaws to it, but we'll touch on that next time around. But you're probably looking at me and thinking to yourself, well, what about Baby Driver? Baby Driver came out that weekend, and that was a well-received movie, a highly acclaimed film, directed by Edgar Wright. Yeah, I am not the biggest Baby Driver fan. In fact, honestly, I really don't think it's as good as people make it out to be. I'll explain why. That'll come up tomorrow on the show. But I think everybody can agree that the last movie we have here, Will Ferrell and Amy Poehler in the House, really is another one of those really bad R-rated comedies that came out around this time. And yeah, The House was pretty bad. So we're at the midway point of 2017, coming up in the next episode. Despicable Me 3, Baby Driver, and The House. So we'll touch on all of them tomorrow here on the channel, so stay tuned for that. With all that said, though, thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please go ahead and do me the honors of hitting that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification button. Also, don't forget to check out our playlist, and don't forget to check out the previous episode we did. So with all that said, whether it's in the past, the present, or the future, I will see you at the movies. Take care. Bye.